Coming up on this week's episode of the Rip City Roundtable podcast, we're throwing it back to a past guest. Again, not a Blazers Edge writer, not a media member, not a player, not a coach, but one of my best friends. Aaron, the Dr. Brown, is coming back on the show, giving us his thoughts on the end of the season. You know, this is, as Aaron, he's been a Blazers fan as long as I have been. This is like our, watching the team, probably like our 25th, 26th season. Didn't end in a championship, so that's very sad. But we get to go through our thoughts on the team, the draft coming up, the draft lottery odds coming up. But we also get to do a fun segment of basically who are we keeping on this year's team if we had to make that choice. I won't give any more details about it. Listen to the episode, but it's really good content. And I think it just gives a dive into the thoughts of this organization as we move forward. What are we trying to accomplish this offseason and moving into next season? Are we preparing for another bad year, potentially tanking so that we can get a better draft pick in 2025? Maybe that's the play. That's probably the play. But who needs to be on this team moving forward? What can we get for assets? All that stuff. Aaron and I, we talk through that and we give you our thoughts there. So enjoy this episode. Thank you for listening as always, and we'll be right back from break with the Dr. Aaron Brown. All right, everybody, we're back from break, and we're here with the doctor. That's not Dr. J, but but Dr. Brown. I don't know if you could take that nickname, Aaron. I think it's already been taken. But
I don't know about the doctor. Yeah, maybe a doctor.
Just be the doctor.
Hey, I think Doc Brown is also taken. So
Doc Brown. All the good ones are taken. You're right. I think. What's his name? Lloyd. What's his name? Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd. Yeah,
Christopher Lloyd. Yeah, I think Christopher Lloyd would have something to say about it, but maybe he'll give it to. So we just have Aaron Brown, the doctor, on the podcast again. Aaron, thanks for coming back on. We appreciate you.
Happy to be here.
If you've listened to, I think it was episode 2. Was that when you were on the show?
Yes.
Okay, so Aaron, you're not writing for the Blazers Edge, but you have been an avid reader for a long time, and you and I go back to when we were tiny little kids. So we've been friends for a long time, and have a lot of Blazers opinions. And you're very knowledgeable in the game too. You were a great player in your day. In your high school days.
I don't know if we want to say that out loud, but
one of the great intramural players, shall I say that? Your intramural jersey hangs at the Baylor Rec Center here in Waco.
Oh my gosh.
It really doesn't, but maybe it should. All right, dude. So the season's over, right? It's ended.
It is.
It is. Are you sad or happy that it's over?
It's these kind of seasons. It's good to be on the other side. So I'll say sad that, it's ended. Yes. Always sad when the basketball season's coming to an end.
Yeah.
But this particular one, ready to this is the time of year where you can get excited again. We're going to have a draft. We're going to have players to get a summer to get healthy, get ready for the next season. Hope gets reignited at the end of a season like this.
100%. Hope reignited. I know. I think it comes down to like specific dates on the calendar now, instead of just, do we play tonight or do we play tomorrow night? And those dates are May 12th is the day that they do the ping pong balls. So that's a very exciting, sometimes nerve-wracking. Well, it always is nerve-wracking. But we'll see. We'll see where the Blazers land. We're in that third best odds, third, fourth, depending on the 1%. 1 percentage point. What's up?
Oh, I'm sorry. Technical difficulties.
Oh, you're fine. What happened?
You froze, and then you said everything really, really fast, and I caught up to you.
Okay. All right. We'll go back. What did I just say? I'll say we're at the point of the season with the dates. That's what I'll say. Okay.
Yeah, that's where I left you.
So we're at the point of the season, Aaron, or the year right now, where it just comes to specific dates on the calendar, right? It's not, oh, the Blazers play tonight or the Blazers play tomorrow night. It's May 12th is the next date on the calendar, which is when the NBA does the ping pong balls, right? And Blazers sit third best odds, fourth odds, depending on that 1 percentage point with Charlotte, which was so great, by the way, that they decided to win that final game of the year. And San Antonio tried really hard and won. And we, in beautiful tanking fashion, lost to the Kings by 40. And so that was great. it got us more ping pong balls or chances. So May 12th, and the easy answer I was going to ask you, like, what are you hoping happens? But we're all hoping for like a number one pick, right? I mean, there's not really another scenario here that like is something that works for us, right? Unless you're trying to get like real in the weeds with salary and could we trade the pick back or whatever. But like, we're just going for the number one pick, right? That's the hope.
Yeah, I think anytime that's an option, that's what you want. Like you said, it's just a more valuable asset. You can trade it back. You can. That's definitely the hope. I think this year, there's no like Wemby where you're like super invested on getting that number one. So I think there's a little bit less worry about it. It's like, oh, okay, we got third again. That's fine. We don't know who's going to be the best guy from this draft, so maybe that's fine. Yeah, but always better to be picking first.
Yeah, people have been comparing this, and we'll pull it up here real quick, to the 2013 NBA draft. Okay, do you remember who the number one pick was that year?
2013.
2013, kind of known as one of the worst drafts in recent history. Do you even remember? Any idea who was the number one pick? I'll give you a hint. Cleveland had the pick. The Cavs.
Oh, so Wiggins? Was that Wiggins? No. Barnett.
Close. Bennett. I'll give it to you. You had the right name. Anthony Bennett. This is when
Anthony Bennett.
Yeah, this is when the Cavs were like cheating with the league and they were just getting them because LeBron left them, and so they were
they got the 2 ones in a row, and
the Magic had Victor Oladipo as the number 2 pick. So decent career, but got injured. And then it just goes through a long list of, and I'm not going to read them, but very underperforming players.
Yeah.
Then you get to the 10th pick, our pick. Do you remember who we took 10th that year in the 2013 draft? I would say this one turned out. This was a good pick.
Was that CJ?
This was CJ. Awesome pick. Has had a great career. 11th was Michael Carter Williams, who won Rookie of the Year. Never really did anything else after that. And then the most other notable player that I'll mention on here was the 15th pick was Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Oh, well, that's a...
And so, Giannis huge. And I would say he fell to 15th. So 14 other teams passed on him. And so people couldn't have said, oh, we saw it coming. They didn't. But all I'm saying is this draft is, it's a bad draft. But, Aaron, there are still always all-stars in all these drafts. So it's like... We gotta find them. We gotta get in the dime, the get in the dirt and all whatever the terms are, and we gotta pick out the players, and they're here. Aaron, Rudy Gobert was the 27th pick, has had a good career. Alan Crabb, we took him 31st. You and I maybe for a time thought Alan Crabb was a good player. I think we were just trying to talk ourselves into it, but so there's still a chance this draft could be good. We just gotta find where they're at.
I agree. I think I haven't done any deep diving in to the draft yet. Still have a ways to go there. But my understanding is a lot of international players are kind of going to be highlighting this draft. The college prospects aren't as strong this year. So agree with the international players. That I don't have enough time to follow international basketball. So
what? You don't? What are you doing with your time? 3 a.m. Watch some basketball. All right. Well, I'm going to do an exercise with you, and I told this to you ahead of time. We are going to pretend that there is an expansion draft happening, There's not yet. There probably will be very soon. And normally I think this exercise is done a little differently. We changed it up, and we said you and I have to keep 7 players from the current Blazers team. If the NBA came and said the rest of your players are up for grabs, but you can keep 7 of them, what 7 would they be? And I also included you can choose to pick, or you can choose to keep the 2024 draft pick that we're going to get. We don't know where it's going to be yet, but you can choose to keep that, or you can choose to let that player be up for grabs as well. So I added
that counts as one of my 7?
That is one of your 7. Yes.
Oh, geez. You just made it harder.
This is a lot harder. This is hard. So I figured.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
So I ranked mine, and I'll go first. So I think we just go back and forth. Okay.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay. So my number 1 player that I think we would keep is Shaedon Sharpe, and I think I saw enough of Shaedon this year. His 3-point shot looks really good. He has an ability to play defense, and it reminds me. I don't want to get killed by people, and I don't even like this player, but like a young Kobe was very aggressive on defense, right? Was an all defensive player, and had a great jump shot and could drive the ball and dish. And I think Shaedon has all those capabilities. Kobe had that instinct, that killer instinct about him that Shaedon I think doesn't have yet, but maybe gets there. But I think Sharpe, and I know he was injured for most of the year, but he showed me enough that I think he would be the one I would keep first. And I would say this is the guy that I think has the biggest upside currently on the Blazers right now. So I keep Sharpe.
I agree. I think Sharpe is definitely a keep.
Okay.
For all the reasons you said. I think the only argument, if you're like, I'm not keeping him, is he, even going back before his NBA career, he had an injury history. It's something to weigh into the factor of if you're going to keep this player or not. Hopefully, sometimes guys have injury histories and then they go away and then they're fine. I think Steph Curry is an example. He had ankle problems for the beginning of his career for a long time, and then all of a sudden he's the best player in the world. I mean, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with Shaedon, but it's just an example of sometimes it's better to wait out these injuries when there's that much talent there. Agree on Shaedon.
Okay.
So if we're keeping Shaedon, we're still probably looking at more of a youth movement. Yeah. I'm probably saying next up we'll keep Scoot.
Okay, you're going Scoot.
There's enough still potential growth there. You don't want to let that go. It's too early. He's too young. It's too early. You have him on his rookie deal. You got to keep Scoot. That's number 2.
You got to keep Scoot. I agree. Okay. So I know all 7 get to stay, right? So the order isn't really important except for the exercise, right? Of this, because we're keeping everybody, or we're keeping all 7. But for the sake of the ranking, I'm actually going to go Toumani Camara second. And the drive, his hustle, his defense, his length, he is a stud 3, like wing Aaron. And I've said this on a past episode. I think he's the best wing that Portland's had since Scottie Pippen. And you could go argue with me like Mo Harkless, Al-Farouq Aminu. You want to go way back, Darius Miles. we could start. We never had that wing in the Brandon. Batum probably would be the one that you would say, well, Batum was our best 3 that we've had in the last 20 years. And Batum had a lot of great talents and abilities and was a Swiss Army knife and all that stuff. But I think Kamara is already past Batum, and so give me Shaedon and Kamara as my 2 and my 3. Oh my word! I think you can build a team around those 2, and Toumani's just going to keep getting better. So Toumani was actually my second quote unquote keeper here. But for the sake of our snake draft we're doing here, I'll go again, and I'll make it easy because then Scoot was my 3rd because I see the potential is all in front of him. I think he had an impossible task this season of quote unquote replacing Dame. Was never really going to happen, but
Mm-hmm.
That's what this became, right? We chose Scoot over Dame. That's the narrative. And Scoot, 19 years old, he's so young. He already is like very he's not arrogant, he's confident, but he's just a different rookie. He's talking, he's chirping, he's talking to refs, he's getting foul calls, which is weird. Like he's a different guy, and I think he still has all the potential. His free throw shooting went through a stretch this year, Aaron, where he just wasn't missing a free throw, which is like a huge indicator for me as somebody that has good form and will improve a jump shot. You know, there aren't many 90% free throw shooters or mid 80s that are bad 3-point shooters for their career. So he'll get there. The passing ability is there. The turnovers were also there. But that's what happens when you give a rookie point guard, the keys and say, okay, man, go create and make stuff happen. There were wild passes that were not great, but there were also really good ones too. So 19 years old, haven't given up on Scoot. He can play some defense too. He's a big guy and he's strong and he wants it. So you give me Scoot at the 1, Shaden at the 2, Tumani at the 3 for years to come. That's a dangerous team right there. So I like Scoot third.
Okay. So we agree on Scoot. Tumani, I think you've always been a little higher on Tumani than me.
Yeah, sure. Sure, I have. And he doesn't have to be your third. You can go another direction.
He was on the bubble, and so we can
I like that.
We can debate when we get down to the end here, but I agree with all the things you said about Tumani. I mean, he has that hustle. He does a lot of the little things. He's a really good player on the wing. If we're getting to 7, wait, hold on. Tumani. I think Tumani makes it, but
wait. So we each get 7, right? We're not putting 7 together between you and I, right? Like that.
I thought we're trying to get a consensus 7.
No. You have your 7. I have my 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now you get your third pick now. So I have Sharp,
you have Scoot
and Kamara, and now you
okay.
get your third. Yeah, you get your third now.
Okay. So third. Again, I didn't really rank them in order. I didn't write them down. I'm thinking when you gave me the heads up on this, you also said like consider trade value, consider who's the most important. So in my mind, I think this year the kind of the best player on our team was Jeremy Grant. So Jeremy Grant, you got to keep Jeremy Grant.
Yeah,
that's got to be. Yep. He'd be next on my list. He played very well. This is probably his best season he's ever had. He's a guy we could go to, just to create being like rookies and just the panic was all over the place. So definitely Jeremy Grant. And then obviously, long term, we don't know. Maybe we can flip him for some more assets if we're going more the youth movement.
Yeah.
But if I'm picking 7 guys, he's the next up.
Perfect. I love it. I'm not going to go Grant yet, but he might be on my 7 there. So for a similar reason. My fourth pick, I was going to go with DeAndre Ayton. And with the chemistry that started to form between Scoot and DA, and just DA in general, like when in the right environment, he has shown us since the All-Star break, like the guy can score. He hustles on defense. He blocks shots. He can set screens. He's not the largest guy in the world, but he's tall and he's long, and he catches passes. He has great hands. I think DA is a keeper, and I think Phoenix was in that mode of we got to win right now. We got to win right now. And poor DA in the finals against Giannis with no backup center, he was just getting destroyed. And I think that was the lasting memory. And that's why he's not on the Phoenix Suns anymore. So unless Portland makes it to the finals against a big center and DA gets destroyed, I'm still on his bandwagon, and I think Ayton's great. So I would say Ayton would be my fourth selection to keep on the team.
I totally agree. I think Ayton is, if I'm ranking him, probably my third or fourth. Very high on DeAndre Ayton's potential. Love the way he developed the mid-range jumper this year. Really, really efficient. And like you said, is central for setting those screens, getting 2-man game. It's a big part of his game.
Yep.
And I totally agree. Got to have Ayton.
All right. My fifth pick is your third pick, or your third one you talked about, not your ranking.
Mm-hmm.
But it is Jeremy, because I think, and purely just for trade value, I think Grant, if he was 27, 26 and had the same arc he was on, oh my goodness, like that would be the starting five, right? Scoot, Sharp, Kamara, Grant, Ayton, right there. But he's 30. He is who he is, and I think he brings more value to another team than sticking around with us for another 2 years. When things then will really start to matter for the Blazers, Grant will start to be going downhill. So I say we keep him because we got to flip him. And my last two, and I'll kind of spoil one that I'm not keeping, but like it was between Grant and Malcolm Brogdon for me as far as player that we keep to trade.
Mm-hmm.
And Malcolm is a fantastic player, and at times was our best player this year, and was like just the old man game of Malcolm Brogdon is strong, and he's a great player. But I just think Grant, because of his size and his shooting ability, will bring more of a trade value. Now he has a bigger contract, which is the bad part. But as years go on, that becomes a nice expiring that a team could flip. So give me Grant as my fifth because of the same things you said earlier. So,
all right. Yes. So I'm up to number 5.
Yes. What's your fifth?
So I think my next one would be, and I'm surprised it hasn't come up till now, but Simons.
Yeah.
Anthony is a huge part of this team. He's still young. He still fits into the youth movement. He's obviously was our best scorer this year, other than, well, I guess you could debate him or Grant, but I think just too valuable of an asset to let go. Just ahead of these other guys. I agree with what you said about Brogdon. Obviously, also was at times our best player. But Simons is younger and just fits kind of the mold that we're going with, but a little better.
Yeah. No, some of Simons, man, some of the games he had specifically like the Milwaukee game against Dame, like Simons hit the big shot at the end that put us ahead, and his step back three is nuts. Like he's like a machine on that. He watched Dame clearly for 5 seasons perfect that shot, and Simons has it, and he became a better passer this year and all those. So I'm all on that with you. I'm not going to go him yet. My next player.
Only got 2 left.
I know. It's 2 left, so it's going to come down to if I select it or not. Jabari Walker can be the guy. He's our Draymond. And Jabari can come in. He doesn't need the shot. He doesn't need the ball. He can create chaos on defense. He grabs rebounds, putbacks. He can hit the 3-pointer. He can hit a jump shot. He can drive to the rim. He can hit clutch free throws. I forget the game this year. It was Memphis. The second game against Memphis, or first or second, on that back-to-back. And he nails the game-winning free throws. Like ice in the man's veins. And give me Jabari. I don't think he starts necessarily, although maybe he grows into that. But bring that man off the bench against other second units. Either if we're down, the Blazers will make a comeback. And if we have a lead, I think that lead balloons. And I think Jabari is a big key to that. So give me Jabari Walker with my 6th keeper selection.
Okay. So now we're into the tough decision.
Yeah, this is the tough one.
6 and 7. So when I did this exercise, I wasn't thinking about the draft pick, and I think I ended up going Tumani Jabari as my last 2. Now you're telling me I gotta think about. I gotta pick between the 2. I also gotta cut. Banton showed a lot of progress this year. I love watching him play. You're telling me I gotta cut him.
Well, wait, hold on. But you don't know where the pick is yet. Like, yes, the draft pick.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I gotta weigh it all in. I don't know. I know.
This
is where I would not be a good exec because I'd be like, I don't know what to do, guys. I don't know what to do.
keep everybody. Keep everybody.
Keep them all. Yeah, I mean, I think so. For my final two spots, it's coming down between Tumani, Walker, and the pick.
Okay.
With the honorable mention for Banton.
Yeah.
Also, Brogdon we talked about, and I even liked. I just like seeing Matisse Thybulle get steals. It's just the most fun part of watching the Blazers. When Matisse Thybulle gets steals, I'm like, yes, it's glorious.
There would be times, when I'm watching games or like I'm trying to like figure out, okay, what am I going to write about after the game's over? There would be times where I would just watch Matisse, like on defense. I wouldn't watch the ball. I would just watch him, and he is wild. Like the way his vision is stupid, and I think the guy has like 300-degree peripheral vision. Like he sees everything, and just the way he would jump lanes and stuff is just awesome. Yeah.
So all hard to part with because I love watching his game. Like you said, on defense, just watching him is actually quite entertaining.
Yeah.
I went Walker over Kumara. It comes similar. It just like for the fit purposes, I think is where I was at. Just bringing that rebounding and a little bit more size and like it was a hard decision. I don't know. So I'll go Walker number 6. Okay. So I guess we're both Walker number 6.
We're both Walker number 6. Yeah. For my final selection, and I just wish this was you and I just talking on the phone and this wasn't recorded because I don't want this to come back to bite me in the butt. Because I think it will. I'm keeping Rayan Rupert.
Oh wow!
There was enough I saw in the last 2 months from him that makes me think this is what the Bucks saw in Giannis in year 1 and year 2, when no one knew who he was, and he was just length for days. And he could gallop like a gazelle, and he had some ability, but they weren't sure. And then he just took those leaps. And I think Rayan has that in him. He has some fire, Aaron, and he can hit the three. He's not consistent at it, but he can hit it. But his defense is nuts. I think already at the point of his career, with the amount of playing time he's had, I would not give up on him. And I know I left off Simons, which is the big one.
I think you're crazy.
And I'm probably crazy, and I just don't ever want this to get back to anybody. Anthony has been amazing. He's our longest tenured Blazer. Like, us Blazers fans, we just become attached to our players. And Anthony is like our guy right now, because if he wasn't on the team, I don't even know who the next one would be. So I love Anthony, but what I see happening with Anthony, unless he just takes over the one, he's our point guard, and he has all those point guard skills. This is like CJ all over again, Aaron, where we have an undersized 2 who has tremendous offensive skill set, but doesn't help bring order and balance to the team to get us over a hump. And that's my biggest concern with Simons. I know my other argument could be, well, let's keep him and trade him, right? I could have said that. Simons is my 7th pick because then we're going to flip him for somebody. I don't know what we get. I still think Grant might fetch a bigger asset, or more assets than Simons might. And so this probably bites me in the butt, but I'm going Rayan Rupert, and I'm going to leave Simons out. With the caveat, Aaron, remember the way this thing works is now the rest of my team that I've selected, they're open, they're out to be grabbed. They may not be picked. And if they're not, right, they're still on the team. Now, how would you feel though if you weren't protected and you're coming back to a team that didn't want to protect you? I think that's kind of weird.
Sure.
But
sure.
Anyway, that's my last pick, Rayan Rupert.
All right, so no draft pick this year.
No draft pick.
No Simons. No Simons.
No Brogdon. I loved Delano was incredible too. Delano, but it still feels like Delano was good player, bad team a little bit, because he had a ton of minutes and he basically was like given the green light to shoot everything. But right, I do think he showed ability to finish at the rim strong, which is for a younger player is uncommon.
Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, I mean, now same thing. You have to make these cuts. It's probably going to come back to bite you. You.
Yep.
I really. The smart thing is probably to keep Kamara because the draft pick, who knows what that's going to be. I just like the little hope of like, oh, maybe this draft pick will be,
It could be. It could
the
be.
next Giannis. You don't know. So I like to keep the draft pick for now.
All
That's
right.
probably a mistake. If I'm a GM, I probably would just keep Kamara as my 7th and not do the draft pick. But
I don't think that's a mistake. I did debate the draft pick. It was just hard. There's just been I wish I want to listen to the podcasters that are like high on this draft but there are none. So it's just hard. It's hard to be like the 1 year Aaron where we have a potentially top 3 or 4, 5 pick, I guess, depending on how the balls drop. And now the Warriors, right? I think we have the 13th pick. I think that's where they finished, 12th or 13th, now that they got knocked out last night.
they got knocked out. That's true. That was best case scenario for us.
Best case. Now, they could win the lottery, which would be like crazy because their odds would be so low, and then we would not because I think it's top 4 protected. But most likely we'll get the Warriors pick and our pick, and it's like a terrible draft. And it's like, come on, guys. What are we doing?
Everyone says there's good role players. There's good guys that maybe aren't going to be all-stars, but that can still like bolster our team. I think we just need to raise the floor of the team.
Yes.
So there's definitely there'll be someone. There'll be someone.
Okay, so quick recap. These are mine: Sharp, Kamara, Scoot, Ayton, Jeremy Grant for trade purposes, Jabari Walker, Ryan Rupert. Notable ones that I left off were the 24 draft pick, Simons, Brogdon, Delano Banton. Duop Reith, we didn't talk about Duop.
I almost brought up Duop.
Yeah, great backup center. I don't think Duop gets snatched up from a team, so I think he's still on our squad, and I think he doesn't care that he wasn't protected. I think he just goes and plays ball. So, right. But I noted Duop Reith on there too. Your pick: Sharp, Scoot, Jeremy Grant for also trade reasons, Ayton, Anthony Simons, Jabari Walker, and then the eternal optimist Aaron keeping the draft pick, the 24 draft pick. Love it.
I'll say I don't think they're going to move Grant this year either. If we're talking about trade, they might, but I don't know. I think they're going to keep riding with him this year. But
did you see some
I'm
of
not
the?
Opposed.
Well, I think he skipped out on his exit interview. I could be wrong on that, so I need to go back and look at some tweets. But I thought I read that he didn't do his exit interview, which is kind of telling.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I had not heard.
And then did you see the Simons tweet where he was basically like, he pulled a Dame, where Anthony was like, I don't want to be on another bad team next year. Like, that's what he said. He was like, I'm moving into my 7th season. I want to win. And I'm like, wow. So I'm like, okay, what does that mean? So I don't know, man. I mean, what does a Blazers team look like if Brogdon, Simons, and Grant were all moved this offseason? Do you try to, if you're thinking of the 25 draft, right, Aaron, which is like the loaded one, are you trying to flip these players to like mid-tier teams that if they got Grant or Brogdon or Simons could be like, oh man, we could leap in contention, but if it goes south, they still could be in the lottery, and then we could still get a number 1 pick from them. If you know what I mean, like if it's let's say like Atlanta Hawks, as an example, we trade him Jeremy Grant, okay, and then the Hawk and it's not unprotected, no protections on that draft pick, and they tank or they had people get hurt, and now we get their pick that could be a number 1 draft pick. Is that the smart thing to do? Is just try to trade these players to mid-tier teams that they're trading good assets back to us, meaning their draft picks, because they want to take a leap, but they still have a chance to go backwards. Does that make sense? So like you wouldn't trade.
Yeah, I don't think the Hawks are the right team because I don't think they own their picks. But but the idea there being it's tough though because like Simons and Grant, I don't know that they're like a propel a team at that level to the next level. I think they're more of like maybe like a Pacers or Orlando that's already kind of in the middle that wants to get up another level, that'd be the team that is more likely to trade for those players.
I'm worried that and I know you're just throwing examples out there, so I'm not trying to kill it, but like I feel like Pacers and Orlando, I think they are there. Like I think regardless, let's say they got a Grant or another scorer, I don't think those two teams are doing anything where even if Halliburton got hurt or if Paolo got hurt for the Magic.
Less likely to be at the bottom.
Likely to be at the bottom. Correct. Yeah. So, I look at like, I was going to say like Sacramento, they're probably, I think like they would need two players to get hurt, right? Like Sabonis and Fox would have to probably get hurt for them to be like a tank job moving all the way down. I don't think Utah is trading in draft picks. I think it'd be hard for any team to trade 2025 draft picks, but it has to be a team that's like not even thinking they're going to even be close to the draft. And then all of a sudden just things go out of nowhere. So, but maybe that's our strategy this offseason. Or maybe we keep them all. I just don't think you can keep Brogdon. I think Brogdon.
Yeah, we're too many guards.
Too many guards. Yeah, we got to get rid of Brogdon.
Brogdon would be I think you can get a good asset for Brogdon.
I think so too.
All right. I know we're running short on time. Hit me. I got some little trivia for you.
Okay.
Because I was, I like to find things to make myself feel better after, the Blazers, they finished 15th in the West this year, last place.
Okay.
What do you know when the last time that they were last in the West? What year that was?
Man, this is good. The last time we were last in the West was I don't think we ever were bad enough to be last in those years. Shoot, Aaron, I'm just gonna take a stab and say, like, what was the year we got Bowie? 1983.
Nope.
Am I? Is it further back or?
No, it's more recent. It was it was 05-06. We were 15th in the West.
05-06. And then we drafted Brandon. Was that the year then we drafted Roy? And
yes. That was Brandon Roy. Yeah.
Wow. 05-06. Yeah, those were dark times. Those were dark times for sure. Yeah.
Yep. But in looking that up, I found out the Blazers actually have a fairly good regular season winning percentage.
Okay.
We are 9th overall.
Wow. And that's both East and West? That's the whole NBA?
The whole NBA. Jeez. Which is not bad.
That's great. Yeah. And this is all time?
All time.
Top 10.
Top 10 all time winning percentage. So this team has had some success. Maybe not so much in the postseason. Our numbers look a little worse there.
Don't read that one.
But that one made me feel good. I was like, okay, this team is a rather successful. Do you know which is the worst?
All time
winning percentage.
Sacramento.
It is not Sacramento.
Oh, it's not. They just had such a big playoff drought. Is it like Charlotte, like the Bobcats / Hornets?
Charlottes are down there, but it's actually the Minnesota Timberwolves. Sorry, Timberwolves fans.
Sorry, Timberwolves. Yeah, okay. Okay, that makes sense. You take out Kevin Garnett, and that's probably
second to last was actually the Clippers, which I was surprised by.
Oh, yeah. A lot of bad years for the Clippers. That's true. That didn't really turn around until about 10 years ago.
Little easier question. Who I bet you could get the top three.
Okay. Oh, like I need the third one?
No. What's the number? The best winning percentage.
Oh, best ones. Boston.
They're number 2, but
okay. But, Lakers.
Yeah.
And then third one.
It's actually the number 1.
Oh, the number 1. Oh, San Antonio.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Spurs. Yeah, Spurs. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They cheated.
Stupid Spurs.
Stupid Spurs.
Last bit of trivia, because it's all just fun things to remember as a Blazer fan.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love this segment.
Who had the very first play-in tournament win?
Oh. Well, okay. Play-in tournament first year was 2022.
2019.
For the play-in?
For 2020.
Oh,
it was the COVID
in Orlando.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were in that. The Blazers were. I don't know if we had the first one because I think that
we did. We were
against Memphis.
Yeah, we were.
Was it Memphis?
Yeah.
I think it was. We played the Grizzlies.
Yeah. The Grizzlies. Yep.
Wow. Because remember, we had to win out in the bubble.
Yes.
To even get there. Oh my gosh. And we played the Nets in that final regular season quote unquote game, and they had like a shot to almost win it, and they missed it. But then crazy.
Yeah, good memory. Yeah. So we had the very first ever play-in tournament win.
Wow.
And we're tied. There's like crazy stats of the play-in tournament because it's only been around for like 4 years.
Yeah.
So there's like we're tied for the best winning percentage with like because we're like 2-0 because they're undefeated.
We're 2-0. I love it. I love it.
And the Hawks are 3-0. They're the highest winning percentage. There's a bunch of teams that are undefeated. Yeah, or 1-0. I guess we're 1-0. We're
1-0. Well, so Aaron, would you take Milwaukee? Would you take Atlanta tonight against the Bulls? And I'm gonna get you in on a little wagering action here. Do you want me to tell you what the spread is?
Sure.
So we're looking at the Hawks are plus 3.5. So Chicago's favored by 3.5 points. In Chicago, are you going with Atlanta because they're the greatest play-in team ever? Or are you going Chicago plus or minus 3?
That is a good question. I would have said the Bulls because I just like the way they've been playing. I think they're coming in playing well, but it's kind of a toss-up and getting 3.5 points. I might take the Hawks.
Yeah, I was kind of feeling it.
I might take the Hawks.
I was kind of feeling them. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Aaron, this was great, man. Let's keep bringing ththose segments. That's so good. So fun.
All right.
I love it.
Glad you enjoyed it.
All right, dude. Well, hey, enjoy the rest of your week. Take in as much draft content as you can, and then as we get to May 12th, get your Lucky Charms out, get the rabbit's tails and the hide the black cats and all that stuff, and let's see if your 7th selection here in what you're keeping becomes the number 1 pick in the draft. That would be wonderful.
Sure.
That would be wonderful. All right. Okay, Doctor. We'll catch you later.
Thank you, Cory.
All right.
Great being on the show, and love the content you've been creating. If listeners even haven't go back and listen to his other episodes, there's just some really great content there. So,
well, thanks, buddy.
Shameless plug for you.
Shameless plug. I did not pay you to say that, so that was great. All right, see ya.
All right, bye.
All right, that's the show. Thanks, y'all, for listening. We appreciate it. Aaron bringing some hot takes here. I would say our biggest discrepancy here was my not faith in Simons. And it's not that Simons is a bad player. I'm not saying that, and I hope you didn't get that. Anthony is an incredible player. He's shown a ton of growth this season, particularly in the passing game and his ability to create for others, even with a subpar team around him. Did great there. Games where he had 9 assists, 10 assists, it was tremendous. I'm just thinking if we have to keep certain players and we're focusing on this youth movement, is Simons a part of that? And I think my take is I don't think so. Aaron, a little bit higher on Simons. He's keeping him, but we'll see. Aaron also kept the pick this draft. I will be optimistic, just like every other Blazers fan, of hoping that we get a high draft pick and that draft pick pans out. But if I had to make a decision to keep it, I would say let's pass on it and give me these other 7 players. Give me Sharp, give me Kamara, Scoot, Ayton, Walker, Ryan Repair. I love me some Repair, and then Grant as a piece that could be moved later. Give me those, and I'll punt on the draft pick. So that's where I was, but I know some of you may disagree with me. Some of you might agree with me, and that's great. Either way, it's fine because we all have our opinions, and at the end of the day, we just want to win a darn championship. That's what we want, and will we get it? I don't know. We're not very close right now, but we got to build a team and a foundation that gives us hope for that in the next years to come. I love a good playoff run, being a 6 seed and a 5 seed, and that's exciting, and we're talked about, and we have something to look forward to. That's fine, but if we need to tank in order to put ourselves into a better position to be a 1 seed or a 2 seed and have an actual chance at a title, give me that. We had in 2019, the road was laid out for us. No Kevin Durant. We make it to the Western Conference Finals, and then we get swept, and it was like so disheartening. I know we didn't have a full team either that year. Nurk was injured, but that was our season. And that finals against Toronto would have been interesting. Toronto with that Kawhi Leonard probably still gets it done, but who knows? I mean, we would have been in a finals, which would have been crazy. That was our season, and to get it done. And then we move into COVID and Lillard getting older and CJ, and that just the combo wasn't working. So we should have hit the reset button then. Who knows where we'd be right now, right? Where would we be right now? Would we be in title contention this season? Who knows? But anyway, hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll be back next week with a great guest. So excited. I love doing this. I love y'all listening. Subscribe to the pod, Spotify. Leave us reviews on Apple. All the great stuff. Check out blazersedgestill.com where we're dropping new content all the time. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week. And remember, it is a great day to be a Blazer.